working with another part of yoga philosophy called the Klesas. And even if you've never heard of the Klesas, once I bring them in, you'll recognize them in yourself. So the Klesas talks about obstacles or hindrances to our true self, happiness, fulfillment, just feeling in the flow of things, connecting to spirit. So these hindrances include avidya, which is spiritual ignorance, or just this idea that we are not okay with our current reality. When we aren't okay with our current reality, we tend to suffer. And I really feel like the Kleshas have such good application to the times that we find ourselves in. We are fighting up against this reality that we find ourselves in. The other four parts of the Kleshas include egoism, and this could be an inflated ego. I feel now a lot of us are in that, looking out for myself and my family mode, collecting resources rather than thinking of others. We also might be suffering from a deflated ego, maybe if we're out of work, just feeling not as valued or not as purposeful. Then we have attachments and aversions. We all have these things that we really like, things that we don't like. Again, this is all just fuel for us to look at our lives, look at our minds, and just notice and maybe shift. The last one is fear. In the Kleshas, they specifically are speaking towards fear of death, but we can apply fear to definitely our current situation. So we'll continue to weave in the Kleshas into our physical practice. So let's begin laying down on our backs. Coming into your alternate rest pose. Maybe the knees draw together, the feet are a little wider. The arms resting by the sides with the palms towards the sky. Now you think of the Kleshas also as another way to surrender. Surrender all of these things that get in our way of really being content. So setting everything else aside, checking in with your physical body, with your mind, and with your heart. How will you feel? Begin to deepen your breath. Maybe as you inhale, you sense the rising of your belly. As you exhale, the lowering of your belly, a little bit more of surrender with every exhale. And as you continue to breathe deeply, I'd like to offer you a reading. And I find this prayer of St. Francis to really apply well to the Kleshas and the practice of surrender. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me so love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. O Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in the pardoning that we are pardoned. And it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. And I believe what St. Francis is alluding to when he speaks of dying, of just removing those veils, those obstacles, those hindrances to our own connection to spirit. Maybe it's God, your higher power, your true self. But he's not talking really about a physical death, but a freeing of those obstacles. So whenever you're ready, we'll bring in physical movement. This first movement will just be a gentle arm movement with a cleansing breath. In cleansing breath, we open the mouth and let all the air go. So next inhale, reach arms over the head. As you exhale, let it all go. Keep it going. Inhale up. Exhale. Keep flowing with your own breath and rhythm, but feel with every exhale that you're completely emptying. Again, each breath is a small surrendering. Whenever that feels complete for you, roll those palms up. Take a moment to just breathe normally. Check in. Notice the effects of that small, simple. And the Klesas apply to the psychology of yoga. So we'll be working with our bodies, but trying to access a little bit more into our minds. And we'll move on to just gentle kind of organic movements. So go ahead and hug your left knee in towards your chest. Relax your shoulders. Maybe you set your right arm down by your side and start making little circles with that left knee. And these are just kind of organic movements to start loosening up the body. When we loosen up the body, sometimes it allows us to move inward, to examine the mind, the thoughts, our feelings. So when that movement feels complete, reach that leg up towards the sky. You can have that knee be nice and bent. We're not really doing this to stretch the hamstrings, just to create gentle movement. So start to circle or sway. Continue to breathe deeply. Relax the shoulders, the area behind your heart. And then maybe making a bigger movement with that leg, circling the leg around, getting a little bit into your hips. We'll be really working on the hips as well as the psoas muscle in our practice today. The psoas is a muscle that can hold on to a lot of feelings, fear. So when that feels complete, press the leg right over the other, like you're knitting your legs together. And again, start to rock. Here we're creating a little massage on the lowest part of the spine. We'll also try to activate a little bit into our root chakra. The root chakra at the base of the spine, when in balance, creates stability, freedom from fear. Maybe cross the ankle and over the thigh and go a little bit deeper into your hip. Again, a nice massage across the lower back. when that feels complete. Maybe you just uncross your legs for a moment, stretch them out. Notice any difference between the two thighs, if any. Taking time to notice any subtle shifts in our body will also help us notice any subtle shifts in our mind. So take the legs to a bend. And we'll do that on the other side. So go ahead and hug your right leg in. Relax shoulders, your whole spine. And then if it feels good, left arm rests by the side. And we start to circle. Or sway. Again, just trusting the wisdom of your own body to guide you. If any of the movements that I suggest today don't serve you, feel free to modify. And then relax the arms, reach that right leg to the sky, and start to circle or sway. Again, not straightening the leg at all, we're just feeling into our bodies. Continue to breathe, relax the shoulders, and you relax and soften the muscles of your feet. Maybe a bigger circle, circling that leg out, going deeper into your hip. And then cross that leg right over the other like you're trying to knit them together. Find stillness or gently rock. Feeling that massage. Lowest part of your spine. Maybe say to yourself, in this moment, all of my basic needs are met. I am safe and well enough to be practicing yoga. And then cross that ankle onto the opposite side and continue to rock. Just this act of rocking, very soothing on our nervous system. And when that feels complete, hug the right leg in, hug the left leg in. Maybe you cross your ankles, widen the knees a little bit, and make some nice big circles. Feeling that massaging action in the lower spine. Circle in both directions. And then from here, a mini practice that I love to do in all ways, lying down, standing, sitting. This creates a real profound shift in our nervous system. We're going to shake. So reach fingers and toes towards sky and just shake it out. Shake your hands, your wrists, your feet. Breathe deeply. You feel a little silly, just let that go. We're releasing the hold of our egos. Know that this can have a profound effect on your neurology, your nervous system. So when that feels complete, hug the knees in, set the legs down. Take a moment to just notice and feel. Perhaps a subtle shift of being more present in your body, more okay with this current reality. So one more movement before we arise. Take your feet as wide as your mat. Take your arms out into a T shape, a little wider. And we'll just windshield wiper those legs from side to side. So I mentioned the psoas muscle. We're warming it right now. The psoas muscle is a big muscle that kind of wraps around the pelvis, connects the lower body to the upper body. It connects into the spine. So it's a big stabilizer for our bodies, but it's also a place that constricts and gets tight when we are fearful and tense. So our bodies and our minds talk to each other. So if our body feels tight, the mind gets tight, and vice versa. Next time your knees fall over to the left, linger there. And your feet are really wide like windshield wipers. Maybe you place your left hand into your right side ribs or your belly. And deepen your breath. Allow your breath to really fill in to the belly, the pelvis, the ribs, the back. When we're worried, stressed, fearful, the breath tends to stay up in the chest. So just taking the breath down into the belly can calm our nervous system. And whenever you're ready, weave the legs over towards the right and flexing the feet. Maybe the right hand comes onto the side waist of the belly. Feel a complete filling in of the breath and a complete letting go and empty. And soften the muscles of the face. Maybe bring just a subtle turn up to the corners of your lips. The expressions that we put onto our face are another way that the body communicates with the nervous system. Softening the face, bringing in a smile, can release. So when you're ready, come back to your neutral position, with the arms back. Take a full breath. Observe. And then we'll prepare to transition. So we'll gently roll to either side, using the hands to press ourselves up. So we're going to find our way into our tabletop position. And pat up those knees if they need a little support. And place your shoulders right over your wrists and knees as wide as your hips. Feeling evenness in your body. You're connected towards your hips. And then just walk the hands forward just a little bit. You're going to continue to circle through the body. As you inhale, circle towards the right. As you exhale, circle up through the left. Nice and slow. Observe our minds, our bodies. Notice if your normal tendency is to just rush through your yoga practice, your life. Our current circumstances telling us slow down, or we might miss the deeper message, the deeper lesson. Circle in the other direction. And then whenever that feels complete to you, come back to your neutral. Ensure you're going forward on your mat. We're going to come into just a gentle side-on balance. So that your left hand comes to the top of your mat. Extend your left leg back and extend the leg out, the right leg out. Reach the right arm up towards the sky. And rather than just dumping into that bottom hand, send your awareness into all of your body, particularly your heart, your belly. For me, this is always a freeing type of movement. You look up. And then a careful transition, put a little softness in that left elbow so you can press your body up, preparing for gate pose. So this right foot might be flat to the floor. If that's a little tight in your hip, you can lift your toes. Whatever feels right to you. Try to turn your hips straight ahead. Really check in with the pelvis. Tailbone draws down a little bit, belly draws in, and these hip creases soften. Here again, where our psoas connects. Reach the arms up to the sky. See if you can soften a little bit more in the front of the hips. And then take the right hand down to the thigh, left hand reaches to the sky. Breathe into the left side of the body as you continue to soften into both hips. And then mindfully, take a little cartwheel down back towards your mat. Rock your hips a bit from side to side. And we're just going to take that on the other side. So I'll be turning away from you. So sticking my toe, that's okay. Right hand comes to the top of the mat. Kickstand that right leg back. Left leg comes up. So find that line in the body and then reach the left hand to the side. And then awareness into your heart, your belly, your center. As we move towards our center, we start to feel those places resolve just a little bit. And then press off of that right hand, careful motion. And find your gate pose. Foot position, whatever feels right for you, either toes straight ahead or toes up. Draw the tailbone down just a little bit as the belly draws in, and we take softness in front of the hips, even more when we reach the hands up. Breathe. Take the left hand to the thigh, right hand to the side. A little bit more opening into the right side of the body, the gate. And another metaphor for the creases. Our body, our mind as that gateway inward towards our true self. And then when you're ready, again, mindfully, cartwheel that hand down, spiral the other hand down, rock the hips. And then just take a centering child's pose. And maybe your knees widen a little bit, the toes touch. And the hips draw back. If the forehead doesn't comfortably reach your mat, bring in a block or blanket or a pillow. Again, let that breath move all the way down into your belly. Can you send the breath even into your back? The place of our back where the kidneys are, and even moving into the back of the heart, can be a place where we hold on to fear. So use your breath to access this part of the body and have a little breathe. Whenever you're ready, come back to your tabletop. And we're going to be finding our way into our downward facing dog. So walk your hands forward just a bit, spread those fingers, tuck the toes. Next exhale, lift the hips towards the sky. Pedal your feet, sway, whatever feels good in your body. In your down dog is a really good time to check in with your ego. And does my downward facing dog or any of my poses need to look a certain way on the outside? Or can I assess the pose from the inside out? How does it feel? when you're ready, mindfully walk your feet forward towards the hands. And we're going to slowly come on up, finding our mountain pose. So your feet might be right underneath your hips. Your hands might come to your heart. And you noticed I have on Ganesh, the Hindu god remover of obstacles. I thought it was very appropriate as we talk about the Klesas. So check in your mountain, maybe close your eyes. Feel your feet rooted to the earth. The crown of your head reaching up towards the sky. Your breath full, full, full. Consider your body truly like a mountain, a little bit more like a witness, observing the comings and goings, the parting of the veils of the Klesas to see that kind of fog of the Klesas come and then go. This is how the Klesas work. We'll never be free. That's not the goal. We just notice and shift. So let's bring in an arm salutation here. In this arm salutation, we'll be moving with our breath as usual. So I'll guide you for the first round or two. Take an inhale right into your heart. Exhale, palms come forward. Inhale, bend your knees a little bit. Open your arms. Exhale, arms reach up. Inhale, palms pass behind the head as we gaze into our own soul. Okay. Exhale, come back to sit. Inhale right here. Exhale, press out. Inhale, open the palms, the heart. Exhale, overhead. Inhale, palms pass, we gaze inward. Exhale, up. And take that with your own breath. Sensing just this little gaze in. One more time. Now open. Return to your heart. Breathe, observe. Let your arms go, maybe widen the feet just a little bit, and we'll move into a gentle twist. Let one heel lift up and then the other. When we do that, it allows this opening into the psoas. Feel again, maybe that you're creating that parting of the veils, the curtains. You ease them aside. The gripping of your ego, attachments, aversions, and fear. Your fight with your current reality. And when that feels complete, come back to sit. Notice and observing any subtle shifts. Often when I'm feeling a little undone, I come back to the Klesas. For me personally, I can come back to ego, definitely attachments. And notice a bit of compassion, kindness, and acceptance. Become more aware. So this is part 2 of yoga for the Klesas. So we want to gather up our 2 blocks and set them up to the top of the mat. If you don't have blocks, you can always use 2 cans of soup, 2 books. You might not even need the blocks, but for me personally, they help a little bit. So start in your mountain, standing tall. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, bow. We're going to take a step forward with the right foot, step back with the left foot, and lower the knee. Relax the foot. And make sure your knee is over your ankle. You might wiggle that front foot a little bit more forward. We're working on hydrating into the psoas muscle. So as you inhale, sink in, lift the heart. As you exhale, draw back, lift the front toes. And the leg doesn't have to be straight. Keep it going. Inhale, sink in. Exhale, draw back. Your breath is guiding you here. And being gentle with your body and your perceptions of your body. Being gentle with your mind and your thoughts. So next time you come forward, we're going to stay there. You might need to walk that foot back and over an inch to the right, and then I just find a nice comfortable spot here on my mat. The knee, again, is right over the ankle. We root down into the feet and place one hand and the other to the thigh. Feel a gentle drawing downward of the tailbone, drawing in of the belly to keep you stable. And we'll continue to hydrate and soften into that left psoas. So as you inhale, sweep the arms up, sink in. Exhale, draw back, draw your belly. Keep it going. Inhale. Exhale. And if you tend to be one of those people that are really hypermobile or very flexible, sometimes in movements like this, it's better to go in with a sense of control. So next time, hold the pose. You're going to go a little bit deeper into the psoas. So we're going to take our right hand to begin into the low back. Make sure we're supported here. And tailbone drawing down, belly in. Reach up and over, little lateral side bend with that left hand. Sinking into the hips with control. If you feel stable here, you could consider releasing that right hand and clasping the left wrist. So a baby side bend. Deepening even more into that left psoas. And when that feels complete, mindfully come on out. You can come down to your blocks. And let's set the blocks aside for a moment. Keep the right knee to meet the left. Lower down onto our belly. Hands under the shoulders, tops of the feet and pelvis really rooted. Inhale, lift into your cobra. Exhale, lower down. Keep that going. Even here, we're softening and hydrating just a little bit into the psoas, front of the hip. Move with your breath in the range of motion that serves you here. And whenever that feels complete, press on up. Maybe a little counter stretch. Come back into your child's pose for a breath or two. Check in with the depth and quality of your breath. And then whenever you're ready, you can come back up. You're using your blocks. You can bring them underneath your hips. And we're going to step the left leg. Your way. Wiggle it forward. Set the blocks to whatever height works for you. And the knee is over the ankle. And we'll start to flow and hydrate. Inhale. Same thing. Exhale, draw back with the left toes. Keep it going with your breath. You're not forcing either end. And coming back to consider our egos. Sometimes we tend to really push in our practice and try to make real pretty poses. And sometimes we might undervalue ourselves or hold back. So try to find that right balance. When that feels complete, you might walk that foot back in and over to the left just a little bit. Find stability. Root down into the feet. One hand and the other to the side. Gentle drawing down of the tail, drawing into the belly. And we'll continue to hydrate that right psoas. Inhale, sweep the arms to the side, sink in. Exhale, shrug. Keep it going. Inhale, deepen. Exhale, draw back. Feel your belly. And next time, hold at the top and find that stability in your pelvis. And we're going to take the left hand into the low back again, reinforcing comfort level in our low back. We might need that support there as we reach up and reach a little bit laterally over towards the left. Sink in with those hips a little bit more. Again, we might stay right here, or that left hand might come around and catch the right. And not forcing, just finding some nice sensations in the front of that right hip. And breathing even more into it. When we talk of hydration, we want to breathe to bring in more oxygen to those tissues. And whenever you're ready, mindfully, use your blocks if you need them. From here, we're just going to step both feet together. And slowly roll our way back up into our mount. Pull the shoulders back, around and down. Take a moment to check in, to observe. Again, you as the mountain, the wise witness, watching. Is it foggy on your mountain? Are you seeing some parting of the fog in the clouds? And with the Klesas, we're just talking about coming back to our true nature, which is unbound by the circumstances of our lives. Take a moment to maybe think about poses that you really, really like and poses that you really don't like so much. Attachments, aversions. We tend to move to the poses that we really like and maybe leave the poses that we don't like out of our practice. So I'm going to bring in two poses that aren't my favorites, just to demonstrate how we can get a little uncomfortable sometimes and still be okay with it. Or we can accept that we don't like. A little more neutrality. So take your feet out into maybe like a 5-pointed star to begin. Even in 5-pointed star with the feet wide, the arms out to the sides, we can feel a little relaxation in the psoas, the front of the hips, a relaxation in the low back. Just take a moment to be here, to breathe. And then relax those arms. And we're going to turn the left toe to the top of the mat. So we're guiding into triangle pose. So take the stance that works for your body. The right heel comes back a little further than the toes. The front heel may be aligned with the middle arch. And we're going to come in nice and gentle. This pose really used to bring up a lot of ego issues for me because of the length of my bones, the shape of my bones. I can never touch the floor when I do this pose, and when I was newer to the practice, it would really make me feel less than. But I've come to make friends with triangle pose. So start with your hands on your hips, find that comfortable alignment. Shift your hips to the right. You're going to take this nice and slow, put a little softness in that left knee. And maybe you take the left hand down towards the thigh, any amount. The right hand could come into your low back, reminding you in this pose you want to open the right hip, the right shoulder, draw the left hip, the left side of the body under, and maybe you reach that right hand up towards the sky. Breathe. Again, finding like you're moving from your center in this pose rather than dumping into that bottom leg. Can you feel a full expression of you, even in a pose that you might not love? Whenever you're ready, mindfully come on up. And we're going to step that right foot in just a little bit. And this is where blocks might be very helpful if you have them. I'm going to step my blocks down on either side of that front foot. So I've right away come into pyramid pose, which is a prep for revolve triangle. So in pyramid pose, we want the hips, the shoulders to be squared off as best we can. And if this is too much for you, you can always have your hands to your knee, your thigh, your shin, getting length through your spine. And if your back is feeling at all tweaky, you might just stay right here in your pyramid pose, or if you're feeling up to it, you can move right into your revolve triangle. So the left hand is going to come on the hip. We want to draw that hip back and lengthen out through the crown of the head. We could just take the hand into the low back, as we said, to turn our body to the right, or that left hand could reach up towards the side. But if you feel the movement in your core as you twist, feel a rooting down with the and then whenever you're ready, mindfully unravel, soften that knee, and take yourself right on over to the other side. So the right foot points straight ahead. I'm going to carry my blocks. Come on over. You might want to do the same and lean it. Good. So right foot is pointing straight ahead. That left foot heel comes back a little further than the toes, prepping for triangle on the other side. And root it in your feet. Shift your hips to the left. Take that right hand down towards the thigh. Maybe left hand comes around to your low back. Finding support. Feel the underside of your right body wrapping around to support and create this opening in the left side of your body. If you're feeling it, you could free up that top. Breathe. Think of yourself as moving from your center, the human starfish, radiating in all directions. you're ready, mindfully come on up. And we're going to draw that back foot in, a foot or so, and just preparing ourselves for pyramid. So the hips draw back. You can touch our blocks. We could have a chair here. Whatever works for your body, or your hands could just be resting on your thighs. So you get solid ground here. Lengthen that spine. Take a breath or two. And again, depending on your body, you might be staying right here, or you could move into that revolve line. So we're going to take our right hand on the right hip, draw it back, extend the spine. Maybe the hand just comes into the sacrum as you start to turn to the right. Or maybe you free up that top hand and revolve your triangle. And root into the feet. Feel the twist from your torso, not your arm. Even if you're feeling a little uncomfortable here, should you make peace with your current reality, it might be revolved from. And whenever you're ready, mindfully come forward. Gently come back up. Come to the top of your mat. And just as a counter pose, do a little twist from side to side. See, we got through the challenges. When that feels complete, come back to your mountain. Take a moment to just pause, to breathe, to observe. How do you deal with those attachments, those aversions? The things that you think you just have to have. Or the things that you want to just push away. So from here, we'll be slowing down. So coming forward, move my box out of the way. Come forward to the top of your mat. And we're going to be coming down onto our bellies. So inhale up. Exhale, fold. Come back into your table for a moment, actually. Maybe you rock the hips a little bit. Maybe you take a cat-cow. Whatever your body is asking for right now. And then, once that free movement is complete, lower all the way down onto your belly. We're going to take our arms out in front of us in cradle, and we're going to do some variations of crocodile. So first, let's lift our right leg up, flex that foot, and just rock a little bit from side to side. And coming to this idea of hydrating and softening into the psoas. Flex that foot. Now, if your back is feeling a little strained today, you could just stay here. But if you want to work just a little bit of strength, flex that foot. Exhale, lift the whole thigh up. Inhale down. One more time. Exhale, lift and lower. And then we're going to straighten the leg. Take the right hand down by the side and lift that right leg up. So kind of making a 90-degree angle with this front leg. And just resting back into your crocodile. Forehead resting on forearms. If this doesn't serve you to be on your belly, just take it back into child's pose or any other pose that serves you to feel. Take the time to deepen your breath. Feel the letting go, particularly in the front of your thigh. Whenever you're ready, take that right hand under the right shoulder, guide the leg back, and we'll change sides. So left hand, we'll start by just hydrating a little bit. Curl the heel in, do a little windshield wiper action. Breathe in. And then again, if your back is feeling okay, this is good to strengthen this area, but if your back is feeling flittery, this might not be the movement for you. So flex that foot, exhale, lift the whole thigh up, inhale down, exhale, lift up, inhale down, straighten the leg, take the left hand under shoulder and guide that left leg out into a 90-degree angle. Settle yourself back down, resting your forehead on your forearm. Can you allow that breath to move into your back body, the back of the heart, the kidneys, softening any fear that might be residing in your body or mind. And then whenever you're ready, left hand comes by the shoulders, send the left leg back. Hands under the shoulders, press your body up, and take a neutralizing child's pose. And then coming back to your seat. Take a moment to just be, to observe. And feeling yourself like a seated mountain. Simply observing those cliches, those obstacles, those hindrances that somehow seem a little lighter. And then, when you're ready, we're going to come down to lay on our backs, and we're going to need a block, a pillow, or blanket for this next movement. So we're going to be coming into supported bridge pose. So the feet might be underneath the knees. You can lift our hips and set the block right underneath the lowest part of the spine. Resting the arms by the side, palms towards the ceiling. Coming back to this idea that we're massaging or activating a little bit into that root chakra, a center of safety, stability. Let's face it, we all feel a little unstable at this time, but can we come back to our bodies, come back to our practice? Just take refuge to remember we are more than the circumstances of our life. Allow that breath to flow freely into your belly. And then one more little psoas release. So if it serves you, draw your right leg in towards your chest and extend your left leg down towards the earth. Soften the shoulders, soften the back of your heart. Breathe even deeper into that left psoas. And then when you're ready, just changing sides, root that left foot, put the right leg down. And we'll hug the left leg in. Extend the right leg down towards you. Soften once again all the muscles of your face. And you turn up the corners of your lips. And once again, recognize how you feel in this moment. From here, you just come back to your supported bridge. But if you're feeling the need for a deeper inversion, you could draw the knees in. Extend both toes up towards the sky. Put a little bend in the knees, no need to force the legs to be straight. Let your arms be wherever they choose to be. Continue to breathe deeply. Inversions always bring up for me this idea that we're putting our bodies upside down. Maybe it feels like our lives are upside down. But in this moment, just putting ourselves upside down is actually serving us. Calming our nervous system. Whenever you're ready, slowly come up. Coming back to your supported bridge. Notice how you feel. And then we'll release across. Maybe rock those knees a bit from side to side. Maybe give ourselves one more last hug, rock. Whatever final movements would serve you. And then preparing for Shavasana. Bring in whatever props serve you. Know that if you do tend to be tight in your psoas, it's a good idea to place a bolster, a blanket, or even your blocks right underneath your thighs. I'll keep the effort together, Maya. And relax the face. Allow the back of your heart to melt. The weight of the bones to become heavy. Recalling that this is corpse pose. In corpse pose, Every time we do savasana, we have a small dive, a small shift, a loosening of those hindrances, those obstacles. Moving closer towards our true self, where we are unbound by the circumstances of our life.